In 24 minutes past the hour. You know, later on today, the NBA commissioner could make a big announcement about the Clippers owner, Donald Sterling. The league's investigating the racist remarks that he allegedly made. Now, Sterling could face stiff penalties, maybe even be forced to sell the team. CNN political commentator Marc Lamont is also an associate professor of African-American studies at Columbia University in New York, and is kind enough to get up early and join us this morning to talk about it. Marc, thank you. Did you talk with your students yet about this, and what did they say?
Oh, absolutely. One of the most interesting things about this controversy is that when other things happen, like the Duck Dynasty thing with Phil Robertson or Don Imus back in the day, there are always spirited, heated debates. This time around, everyone was kind of on the same page. Everyone thought this guy was awful. They thought he was racist. They thought he was a jerk. There were some debates about free speech, but ultimately, most people were on the same side of this issue.
You know, I've been saying this morning that I really feel for the fans, in addition to the players in terms of the situation that they're in. But for the fan of the LA Clippers, what do you think that they should be doing? Do they boycott? Do they go? Does it say something about them as a person? Which way they decide here. Yeah,
it was interesting. I heard Mark Jackson, the coach of the Golden State Warriors, say that fans should boycott. Obviously, he has an investment in the home team not showing up.
Yeah.
But in general, I think it's still the right move. Moments like this require sacrifice. They require great sacrifices from players, from coaches, and from fans, anyone interested in justice. To show up to the game, to watch the game, to play in the game, ultimately is to serve the interests of Donald Sterling if he's not removed as an owner, because he gets paid from all of it. We have to push back.
You know, in your understanding here, what can the league do? I mean, this guy owns a team, so it's his money initially into it. Can they tell him stay away? Can you force someone to sell?
You can, now the problem with the Constitution is that it's not public, but based on every source I've spoken to, the primary reason for removing an owner from ownership is financial insolvency. If you can't afford to pay your bills, which we've seen before in places like Cleveland back in the day, we saw it in New Orleans more recently, when people can't pay their bills, when owners can't make payroll, you can remove them from ownership. Otherwise, it's very difficult to take someone's team from them. What you can do is give them long-term suspensions. You can make it uncomfortable. You can make them want to step down. Even with Marge Schott in baseball, which has a slightly different set of rules, ultimately, she wasn't fired per se, but she did step down once board members pushed back because she kept getting suspended.
I got you. Marc Lamont, political analyst, but also a professor of African American studies. Thank you so much for the insight. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right, thanks.